Welcome back to Photography Tips and Tricks, your show for gear, tips, tricks, inspiration, anything that you need to get your photography over to the next level. My name is RC, and this week I'm really happy to have my co-host Larry Becker here. Larry's actually going to take us to the next level for some creative exploration with lens and flashes and kind of tinting, a little bit of tinting. I don't want to give it away. Larry, tell us a little bit about it.
Hey RC, thanks very much. This week I am gelling. Now, RC has talked to you about gels and going to the B&H site, and you get color accurate gels at B&H. I don't need anything like that for a lot of the experimenting that I do, and so I go to Michael's craft store, and you can buy this stuff. It's like $3 a roll, and you get like yards and yards, and they have all kinds of different colors. And so if you're doing some different color experimentation and you want to gel your flashes with some different colors, not necessarily to match, you know, a particular color temperature, but to add a blue or a green or a gold tint or something like that, you can absolutely do that. And then one of the other things I did, I took one of those little acrylic picture holders that sit on your desk, and I cut it off and I bent it and I heated it with a little propane torch, and then it becomes a holder for gels, so it can go on the front of your flash like this. One last quick tip for cheap shots as far as gels go is you can experiment and print your own colored gels if you have a color laser printer. Now you might be thinking, well, I've got color transparencies and an inkjet, a color inkjet. The problem with that is that color inkjet transparencies are not heat resistant. They're gonna melt if you put them on the face of your flash, even if you have a little bulb out in front, you know, even if you have them a little bit away from the front of the flash. So color laser, well, if you know anything about lasers, they're already a heat transfer process. So if you buy laser transparency material, you can try all kinds of different colors and try different shades and then cut those out and put them on the face of your gel or your flash. One last thing, if you have a large light source like a window, this kind of stuff is great to cover a window. So you can cover that whole thing with all kinds of different colors, blue and orange and what have you. And these are a great emergency solution when you find yourself in a situation where you need to change the color of a light source and you don't have time to order an overnight shipment. You just run down to a craft store like Michael's or something like that, and you can gel up any kind of light you have at all. So that's it. It's a tip straight from Larry's Cheap Shots, Inexpensive Solutions. And hey, visit that site. I've got all kinds of tips like this.
Thanks so much, Larry.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where a lot of people don't think about that stuff. Gel and how you color lights really does accent a lot of your images. I mean, people think usually correct a light and do this kind of stuff, but exploration, experimentation is something that is very key. Let me just give you one last thing, just to jump off of that real quick. Take a look at this. This is the B&H website. B&H website, if you ever wanted to play with a whole bunch of different colors to try to decide which color you want to use, Strobus 55-piece filter kit with a gel holder, $18.50. It's a little expensive. It's not Larry's Cheap Shots, but you get a whole bunch of different lights and you get a whole bunch of different filters that you can throw in a flash, and those colors are going to make an absolute difference when you're working with your photography. I just thought of that. I had to turn around and throw that in there. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have more tips, more gear, more inspiration, all right here on Photography Tips and Tricks.
Hi, my name is Dave Black, and I'd like to welcome you to Kelby Training, where you can come join me on my light painting landscapes class. One of our locations is going to be at one of the most famous, iconic barns here in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Not only will we do light painting there, but we will also do some soft focus technique. The site survey will give us an opportunity to look at our subject and start to figure out where we'll have camera position and where we would be applying the light painting from. Now, just because we're out here in the great outdoors in a big national park, don't think you can't do these at home. All the basics and fundamentals that we'll cover in this video will teach you how to get into light painting landscapes, whether you're out here in Teton National Park or right in your very own hometown. Come to my light painting landscapes video at kelbytraining.com. I hope to see you then.
Welcome back, everybody. RC here. I wanted to talk a little bit about archiving and moving images around and kind of what my workflow is when I'm working with stuff. So I figured we'd spend a little bit of time talking about some computer work and kind of the overall process and the players that I've chosen for this. So this is kind of what my setup looks like now, right? So I have a MacBook Pro. Sometimes I'll use a PC when I'm connecting to most of this, but the idea is generally the same. When I'm on location and I'm doing a shoot, or if I'm shooting with a digital camera, what I'll do is I'll shoot to my cards, and then those cards get automatically placed inside of Lightroom. So Lightroom will collect all of this stuff, but during the import process of this, what I'll do is I'll take everything and I move everything onto a folder on my desktop. So the desktop contains all of that stuff. Now, once we go from the desktop, I'll go ahead inside of Lightroom and I'll start doing picks and deletes and all of that kind of stuff. So if I'm running a shoot, there's a whole bunch of information that could be garbage inside of that shoot. Out of, let's say, 300 pictures, 400 pictures, I might only want 20, I might only want 25. There's no reason for me to put those onto drives if I need to go and do any housekeeping to them. So right inside of Lightroom, I'm gonna go ahead and delete and pick and get rid of all the extra garbage, delete those files. That's going to leave me with one folder with all of the images that I do want to work with. Once I have that and I start editing and I start playing around with it, that folder gets sent to one of these guys, right? This is from G-Tech. This is a G Drive Mini, and you'll see that on the back of it, it has USBs, has USB 3 and FireWire 800. So all of the information then goes on to this. And the reason that I put it onto these G-Tech drives is I don't necessarily like to keep all of that space used up on my computer. So once it gets really, really small, off to the G Drive Mini. Now, if you want to take a look at them, this is where you can go. You can go over here to G Technology, go to Products, and under the Products section, this is the one that we're talking about here, the G Drive Mini. So all of the active work that I'm doing is going on to this. And usually I name these, 2013-LR1, 2013-LR2. So it's the year and then Lightroom 1, Lightroom 2, Lightroom 3. Now, all of these drives then at one point, once I finish all of that work, that folder then gets archived into a much bigger place like this. Right, this is the Synology DS1812, and this is the one that I use. It's actually a replica of the one that I use at home. So I have this sitting in the house, and the folders, when they go to long-term archive, they move out of here into this. What I like about that is that you can go up to over 50 terabytes of information by attaching other drives to this, which is cool in of itself. But what I like is the access that I get to it. If you want to find this drive, take a look. Go to Products, and under Products, I'm gonna go to Standard Business, and actually here, let's just go to, there it is, DS1812. So this is the one that we use, right? This gets set up. Now, here's the part that I think is really, really cool. All of that stuff goes into long-term storage, right? So out of the computer, into this drive, don't need it, goes in here, sits at home. A lot of the times what people freak out about is, well, what if I need access to those files? How do I work with those files? One of the things that the 1812 does that's really, really good, and a lot of the Synology stuff does, is that they use this thing called Disk Station Manager. It's almost kind of like a computer inside of this. You can manage and operate all of this stuff right from an interface inside of the box. Even further, you can configure it so you can access it from wherever you want. So at this point, I actually have mine set up so that I can connect to it from wherever I am. So this is actually the login for my computer, the DS1812 that sits at home. Now, if I log in, take a look. This is actually sitting in my house, and if I need to access any information, I'm just gonna go ahead and close this. I can see my workstation's working well. I can see the resources, CPU resources on the workstation. I need to find some stuff. I go over here to File Station. There's my DSLR backups. If I go to my DSLR backups, there's my 2012 folder. Those are each about a terabyte and change a piece. If I need to access any of those files, I can just grab it, download it, and it puts it right onto my computer. What's even better still is that you can install programs onto this. So this is sitting in your house doing all that stuff, right? Archiving and saving and doing that. What if you want to back up to the cloud? You can actually go right here under Control Panel, or actually here, I'm sorry, go to the Package Center. Inside of the Package Center, if you want to install programs inside of the ES1812, you just go to Available. You want to install antivirus? Great. You want to install Cloud Server? Great. You want to make it a DHCP server? Great. You want to have it be a photo station so you can share pictures with people? All you do is click on Install right there. You want to make it into a surveillance station where you track cameras for your house. There's tons of different things. You want to make a website. You want to run Drupal on it. There's so many different things that you can do with this. But the one thing you can do is you can actually go out and find an extra program, right? What's called a headless client. They make it for CrashPlan. So you can actually install CrashPlan on this drive and have it CrashPlan by itself sitting at your house. Your computer doesn't have to be connected to it. So that is brilliant. The fact that you can do that, the fact that you can access these files off of this web interface is even brilliant. They even take it to even further levels here. I'm going to show you this last one. Right now I'm running on my iPhone, right? Now let's say that I want to connect to this. Let's just check it here. So now we're on my iPhone, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run into this program called DS File. Click on this, and guess what? I am actually right inside of my Synology server. So I can access, I want to take a look at a specific picture. I want to see some mobile pictures. I want to see some images. I want to see some images that I took back in December 30th. I want to download these images. I want to work with all of this stuff. All of this information is being accessed from that DS1812 that I have in the house, and it's backing itself up. So for me, I think that this is a great way for us to be able to do stuff. If I like this picture and I want to share it out, right here, I can just click on this, email the link, download the link, or print a picture. So my files, absolutely essential that they're available to me. That's how I get them around. And then there's a lot of questions that a lot of people that talk about workflow and how to be able to do that. Computer first, trim them down, send them to this. When they go to long-term storage, they go to this. Why? Because I can access it from everywhere. So for more information on that, you can obviously go over to Synology. And I'm going to be doing a Kelby training class talking about how all of this stuff works in a little bit more detail coming up in a couple of months. But actually, guys, it's very, very easy to do. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We've got tons more tips, tons more tricks and inspiration here on Photography Tips and Tricks.
The business of photography begins the moment you press the button and click the shutter. But it isn't just about taking great photographs. Whether you're a professional or beginner, you need to learn how to protect yourself and the images you take. I'm New York attorney Ed Greenberg, and along with photographer Jack Resnicki, together we'll walk you through each and every step of the process. We will teach you how to protect your images as well as protect yourself. We'll show you why your model releases are every bit as important as the images you take. So come check out our classes on model releases and copyright registration on kelbytraining.com and only on kelbytraining.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Photography Tips and Tricks. RC here. So let's give you the website to watch. The website to watch is Michael Clark. You can find him over at michaelclarkphoto.com. He's got some great portraiture work. He's got some great athletic work. It's just a great place to go for inspiration on adventures, portraits, lifestyle. You name it, he's doing it. Now, this works out perfectly because we are also going to give you guys a copy of Exposed, Inside the Life and Images of a Pro Photographer by Michael Clark. Thank you so much to Peachbit for this. This is going to be what we're going to do for our contest. Now, you're gonna get this, and you're also going to get a set of Rogue gels. We've been talking about gels. How can we not give you guys a set? Take a look at Rogue. If you don't wanna go through the mess of buying it and cutting it and setting it up, these guys have an ingenious system on how to be able to put all that stuff together. It's all labeled, it's all set up to give you one strap, and it's done, and it can be yours. Take a look at Rogue information. How do you get all of this? You're going to go to the Kelby TV website right here, right? Inside of here, obviously take a look at all of the other shows that we have, but you're only gonna do this on this show. So you're gonna go to Photography Tips and Tricks, and you wanna find the episode that we're working with today. This is gonna be episode 19. So make sure you see 19. Once you go there, what you'll do is you'll go all the way down to the bottom, and at the very, very bottom of this, you want to leave your name, your email, a website if you have one, we'd love to see it, and a comment. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what you want to see. We want to hear from you. Our producers will pick one person, and they'll win these things. Now, I have to talk to you guys about this stuff. This is the event you want to make sure that you go. You're going to go to Photoshop World, photoshopworld.com, April 17th to the 19th, Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. Guys, if you want to see some of the best instructors in the world talking to you about everything inside of Photoshop and photography, you want to learn from Joe McNally, you want to learn from Moose Peterson, you want to learn from Burt Monroy, you want to learn from Corey Barker, you want to do copyright with Ed Greenberg right there, you want to talk to Jason Group, this is a place for you to go. Make sure you go take a look at photoshopworld.com for all of that information. And guys, early bird's gonna run out pretty soon. If you wanna save yourself $100, this is the way to do it. Now, hopefully all of this stuff helps. If you have any questions or concerns of any of this stuff, make sure that you leave us a comment. It's going to be important. We want to be able to hear from you guys. I have one more thing that I wanna share with you guys. Before you go, you have to. PeachPit, they're running a specific deal. PeachPit.com has a book deal. You just type in Kelby TV and you're gonna get 40% off the print and the process with David Duchemin's ebook. So last thing, I just saw it come up and I was like, guys, I gotta tell you about this. If you wanna save 40% off, if we're all about saving, this is a great way for you to do that. Guys, that's pretty much it for this week. See you next week. If you have any ideas, you have any comments, any questions, leave us those comments. Tell us what you wanna see on your show, Photography Tips and Tricks.